Hello, how's everybody doing today? This is the playtest number 6, guys. This is my 6th playtest of Deadly Decks. This is a game I've been working on with my good friend and absolutely unbelievable artist, James. Let's see if we can find this live coverage of this event on YouTube. Today we're going to be doing some really interesting card balancing. It's going to be more about trying to get these characters to feel a lot more like when you start the game, that the classes feel different. Right now, there's just been a little bit too much, feels like yesterday when I was playing, we had this setup right here of these 3 heroes. Each of the attacks does 1 damage. Ashmar's dagger does 1 damage, and Kira's broadsword was doing 1 damage. And it just kind of felt like, but why though? Like, what's even the point of picking these guys? So in an effort to just, again, refocus on balancing, getting everything to feel really nice and tidy and exciting, we really want to try and just make this gonna feel like they're more powerful. Like if Kira hits something, should feel more powerful than if Ashmar hits something. So we still have some problems with Ashmar from yesterday. We still have some problems with Ashmar. Ashmar is still, should be doing a lot of research. He's very bookish. But we'll hold off on that. I think we had some good ideas yesterday. Do I still have the image? Did I save the image? I think I did, but I don't remember where I put it. He doesn't have his card. Oh, there's the Ashmar test. Okay, so let's just get Ashmar back to where he was yesterday. I'll probably add this card here. We did it yesterday, but it was local. And it was the Ashmar test with some random card back. I'm just gonna be, oh, that's right. It was the YouTube thumbnail. That's great. That's great. Who could forget? Who could forget the unique custom card back right there? This is why you come here, guys. This is why you're here every day. All right, so we're gonna give this to Ashmar. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm still not a fan of how this is working yet with him. He's supposed to kill creatures, or when creatures die, he can research them for bonuses for the team. One change that I am going to do today is that Ashmar, to use these powers, will have to turn and basically expose himself to vulnerabilities, which means that if he gets hit when he's like this, he does take +1 damage. So we're going to play that way. Otherwise, he cannot use these research elements in the game. We're going to try, see how it feels. We don't know. We just don't know how it's going to feel until we try. All right, let's go find some nice little lo-fi DMCA free. I need that on a t-shirt. Lo-fi DMCA free. It's just what I need. Oh, here's Fantasy World. Let's do Fantasy World. See how this goes. All right, so just to reiterate, guys, the way this is going to work, Kira will now do 2 damage on a hit, and if it's a critical, she will do a +1. So she can now do 3 damage, which is a big step up from yesterday where she could do 1 +1 to 2. Rowan has a really interesting switch. I thought about him this morning. He's really not. He kind of sucks. I'm gonna be real with you guys. His only saving grace is that he has a ranged weapon. Otherwise, he's kind of garbo. Not gonna lie, kind of garbo. But what I did is I reworked his crossbow the way his crossbow works now is there's a scaling power effect here. So he can do 1 damage when you roll a 1. He does 2 damage when you roll a 2, which is a little similar to what we got going on here. But on a critical, he does 2 damage, same damage. He doesn't do a +1, but the creature is no longer flying this round, which means he hits the creature's wings or he knocks it off and it hits the ground. This could be really useful because if he hits something first and gets a crit and knocks it to the ground, then these guys are going to not take -1s on their attack rolls. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm kind of excited about it. Oh, Big Food Adventures here. I love it. Big Food Adventure, welcome. All right, then Ashmar gets no changes because Ashmar is just Ashmar. We're, like I said, the biggest change with Ashmar is we're gonna have to activate his research if we want to use it. Otherwise, he keeps the dagger at 1 damage, which feels right because we can't lower his damage any lower than 1. Other changes for today is this. We've been using a D4 to roll. Now this is really interesting, guys, and I want to focus on this for a minute because this is game design. A lot of people think game design is just you sit down and you make cool stuff and then connect a controller and it's just an awesome game. That's not true. It's actually kind of boring and you have to know things like probabilities. So what's been happening is on a roll, this D4, when you get a 4, you get a critical. When you get a 1, you get a fail, a critical fail. Problem with this is there's 3 characters, which means in a given turn, there will probably always be at least a fail or at least a critical. That gets a little boring, right? Those moments, the critical fail and the critical success, it should feel like when it happens, it's a big deal. And right now it's kind of feeling like 50-50. I mean, it's literally 50-50. You either get a 2 and a 3, which is just a basic outcome, or you get a 4 and a 1, which is either devastatingly bad or devastatingly great. So what I've done is I've actually made a custom die here. This die has, can't really show it, I guess, because there's no way to show it, but it has 1 of each fail and success. And then it has, hold on, it's a little loud. It has 1 of each, a critical success and a critical fail. And then it has 2 2s and 2 3s. So that way you're most likely gonna hit. That's kind of what we want to happen in the game. We want the game to actually make you feel like you're getting things done and not failing or succeeding, and then you just, there's no middle ground, right? It just feels boring. So we're gonna try this today and see what happens here. But this is an important kind of game moment, which is like trying to play with the probabilities to get the game feel right, so that when you get a critical win, you're super hype, and they don't happen that often. And then when you get a critical fail, instead of you feeling like, I mean, I just got 2 of them in a row because it's 50-50. Now it will feel like, oh man, they come out of nowhere. Like, darn. Like, okay, I haven't had one for a long time. And so that feels fair. So let's give it a shot and let's see what we got going on today and see how this is going to play through. All right. Once again. Oh, did I add the catacombs? Oh, I don't think I added the catacombs, guys. Let's see if we can add the catacombs. There's one more card that I wanted to add here. And this is gonna let me go through here. Did we add them? We didn't. We didn't add them. Okay. Let's go ahead and add this one last card in here. Gonna go over here. Let's add a quick card. And I believe I still have the URLs pulled right up here. I think the URL for this, yeah, it's right here. So we got the custom address here. Drop that in. And then we still need the actual back to this, which is the, oh, it's an event. It's an event back, right? We need that one. So there's allies, there's Act 1 events. Okay. All right, we're gonna drop this in. The Catacombs, a little interesting. Has a draw additional miss token on critical fail attack rolls unless a hero has a torch. This is darkness. I didn't get the actual torch in here, so we'll just have to kind of go with it right now. Make 2 of these, stack them together, flip it, drop them in, and shuffle. Okay, so we now have a lot of events. It's really exciting. And we have our 2 NPCs. All right, let's get started, guys. Let's dig into this, see how this is gonna go. All right, we're gonna draw 5 of these. Let me make sure it's shuffled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I actually felt like 6 was the magic number when we played yesterday. Just really felt like 6 is the way to go. I like dropping the cards on the drum beat. It's pretty fun. That's why we do this. Okay, so let's see what we get here. This should be pretty interesting. I'm actually really hyped to try this out. All right. First up, caught in the webs. Oof. Place on the party leader. Next time they take an action, you have to roll for speed. It has to be 2 or more for them to break free. Okay. Fair enough. Cursed Graveyard. Draw 2 creatures from the creature deck, defeat them to continue. This site has Resurrection, which means defeated undead respawn after 1 round if the encounter has not been completed. So let's see if we draw any undead. We did. Oh, we did draw an undead. So what I have to do is make sure that I kill this guy and end the round immediately. Otherwise, they come back at full health. Not something we want to do. These guys do not have an attack, so we're going to say they're going to attack the slowest. I have to put that on those. We have to go back and do these. And Kira cannot do anything right now, so why don't we just roll to see if the party leader can break free. We need a 2 or better because she has no speed at all. She's very slow. So let's go ahead and roll this. All right, she's got a 2. Wonderful. This is broken. We're all done with that. But that's Kira's turn. So let's get Rowan to... Can't do any research yet. Yeah, let's get Rowan to hit the Sulker. Oh, no, we got to hit the Seekers because they are a 4 life, 4 damage, right? They have... This card's damage is its current HP. So it's at 4, which means it's going to do 4 damage to the slowest, and the slowest being Kira, which we know that. So let's see if Rowan can make something happen here. That's a 2. Oh, there are no 1s. There are no 1s on the cards. Okay, well, we'll treat that. I don't think I knew that. Interesting. 1, 2... and then that would be 3. Interesting. All right. I guess the way the dice were before, there was no 0. A 1 was a critical fail. So that's okay. We're going to treat a 2 like a 1. So that means we only get 1 damage on this guy. But that's helpful. He's at least down to 3. And then Ashmar is going to do the same. We just have to make sure we don't get a critical fail. Ashmar's dagger just does 1 damage. Great. Now, Sulker is going to do 1 damage to the party leader. That's Kira. And then the Seekers are going to do 1 damage to the slowest party member. That also is Kira. Kira takes 2 damage. But Kira's back together now. So let's see if we can get Kira to do a hit on this. That's a 3, not a crit. It's okay. It does 2 damage. That's nice. This is a little bit better. Honestly, all of the characters doing 1 damage since we've been playing this really feels like a downer. So that's 2 damage just off of a regular hit. That's great. Let's see if Rowan can finish the job. That's a 2. I wish the dice like actually rolled, honestly. They just kind of feel like they're not rolling, but it's okay. 2 is still 1 damage. So wait, I messed up. I messed up on something here. Because the Sulker does 1 damage and the Seekers do 2 damage, not 1 damage. That was my mistake. So that's actually 3 damage. Rowan actually did a hit for 1. So let's go ahead and put that on the Seekers and see if Ashmar can finish them off. Ah, he can't. That's a miss. Seekers, the Sulker does 1 damage to Kira, and then the Seekers only have 1 hit point left, so they do 1 damage. Yikes, that's 5. Kira took 5 damage. Definitely not getting crits like we used to, which is, I think, a good thing, personally. All right, let's start the round again. See if Kira can hit the Sulker. I feel like we can just do that because why not? She's still got a 2. That's 2 damage. The Sulker is done. Good job. And now let's see if Rowan can finish off the Seeker. Oh, it's a miss. Let's see if Ashmar can okay, Ashmar was fine. He didn't have anything. Let's see if Ashmar can finish off the Seekers. See, that's a good roll. We get something like that. And he does. Okay, so these 2 are done. All right, the new power dynamic feels a lot better. This kind of feels like how it should be. Okay, so we got 2 coins. 1, 2. Because we killed 2 monsters. And none of them had any loot, which is okay. Take these guys. Toss them away. I didn't do the resurrection, but I'll have to look at that again next time. Oh, you know what? We were going to do this. We were going to say... What happened to the... Wasn't there like a caught in the webs card that just... Oh no, it's right there. Okay. Let's see here. So we can take a undead or a toxic. A toxic will do 1 heal on a critical, and undead will do +1 on damage rolls. I'm gonna take an undead because it just feels like that could be really valuable. So I'm just gonna, I guess, put this right here for now. Let's see if we move this up here. We could actually just do this. Yeah. You know what? Because of that fact, let's do one of these. Maybe that's how we do this. I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right. Then let's see. We're going to get rid of the Sulker because we're not going to use that. We're going to draw the next one. Swarl Seller. Draw 2 creatures. We can knock them back and +2 damage to this attack and exhaust the card, or we can also summon a vintage Swarl if we don't smash the place up. Ooh, this is going to be a little rough. We have an undead guard. They do 2 damage to anyone who does the final attack if their speed is less than 2. Which is Kira and Ashmar. So if they hit this guy at the end, they're going to get hurt. And this guy does 2 damage when his HP is 2 or less. All right. Undead Guard is going to attack the most powerful. Oh, it's Kira again. And the deranged guard is going to attack the lowest health. 2, 3, 4. We're at 9. So that's going to be Ashmar. So, dang. Do we do Ashmar and try and get higher rolls? I don't think so. Let's try it. Let's try it and see. We haven't done this yet. Let's see what happens. We should get a +1 on all of our rolls now. Kira's going to attack the undead guard. And if we get a critical, I'm knocking it back into the rack because these guys have a lot of health. So let's see what we get here. Oh, that's a critical off the bat, which means we didn't need the +1 from Ashmar, but whatever. So that's 3 damage. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I could knock him back into the Swarl rack and do 2 damage, and that would make 5 damage on this guy, and he'd be almost dead. If I don't do that, I can try to get the vintage swirl. I'm gonna try and get the vintage swirl because it does give you the bonuses later. I could do 5 damage to them right now and probably finish them off on the next turn. I'm gonna do the extra damage. So knockback damage does an additional 2. Puts this guy at 2 health left. Now we're gonna see if we roll Rowan, and if Rowan can just get a 2, it will bump it up to 3, which will be 2 damage. So let's see. Just can't get a fail. Ooh, and it gets a critical. That's 2 damage, 2 criticals. We didn't even need Ashmar this time. We didn't even need Ashmar. This is great because Rowan has 3 speed, which means this guy dies. Does not do any damage to Rowan. Does not does the from the grave attack. Does a little death rattle there, but we're fine. And then the deranged guard is now going to attack the lowest health hero. That's gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be Ashmar. So that means Ashmar takes 3 damage. This was probably not my best play right here, putting Ashmar in the way of damage. And then we ended up rolling 2 crits. It's okay. I'm gonna use one of these and heal Ashmar for 2 just in case. And I'm gonna keep Ashmar like this because I feel like we could beat him fast. Maybe we don't. Ashmar only takes 2 damage on the next one. Okay, let's put Ashmar back. And let's roll for Kira to do a basic attack. That's 2 damage. So this guy's down to 4. Remember, once he gets to 2, he's going to do +2 attack. So that's kind of why I flipped him back, because I feel like we got to be a little careful. Rowan's going to go next. That's a crit, but that's only 2. That means we're down to 4. Oh, man, which means he does do 4 damage. Ah, darn. Okay, well, at least there's no at least here. Ashmar's going to attack for 1 damage. That puts this guy at 5, which means he has 1 health left, which means he does hit Ashmar for 4. Thank God I actually did remove that last I did remove the last health, because I think he had 2 health. That would have put him at 6, 7. I mean, he would have still survived, I guess, but that was close. That was close. I guess we're going to just use this just in case. Get rid of 2 of these. And start again. Kira just needs to land the most basic attack. 3. Kira hits for 3. I mean, that's 2 damage. This guy's done. All finished. Nice moves. Fun thing about this, we're going to get 2 coins. And we have 2 loot icons here. With the 2 loot icons, we're going to roll. If we get a crit, we get a weapon. Everything else is just basic loot. So there's 1. Oh, that's a crit. Get 1 weapon. Crit again, maybe? No, we just get 1 loot and 1 weapon. All right. Ashmar can take one of these guys. +2 on damage rolls. Let's try it. That feels broken. That feels really broken to do 2 undead creatures on Ashmar, but that's what we're here for, guys. We really want to break this. I do think, I will tell you, I do feel already that, you know, we have different classes for sure. Ashmar still feels a little like, what am I going to do with this guy? Like, just kind of feels like what's happening with him. But I definitely feel like these 2 pretty valuable. We did not get the swirl, so that's just the way life goes. But I'm rolling the card. I I guess that's something you can do. All right, we get another Swirl Seller. I don't know how I feel about this. There are 2 of each event in the deck, which means you could get 2 of them back to back. I have to think about that. I don't really like this. Back to back feels terrible. But we do need a lot of events, I guess. Yeah, it feels a little like, really? I also don't know what the distribution is at this point of events to other stuff. Well, we're gonna play through it. That's okay. Let's force ourselves to play through it. So this is gonna be just like the last one. Oh my god! This time though we have 2 undead. Oh, I didn't check my loot. Okay. Oh, that's great. Torch of Vorn. This is a +1 attack. It does 2 damage if the creature is blood. It does a +1. Sorry, it does 2 damage if the creature is blood. Do +1 damage, and then you have to discard it. So it's just a single use spell. Ooh, this is the snake bow. It does 2 damage ranged. If critical, do this action again. So it could do up to 4 damage. And it's ranged and light. Although maybe this is a... See how this goes. Kind of feels like these 2 are kind of on the same level. So maybe the snake bow has to come up a little bit. It's hard because these like do doubles. You know, it's like it could do 4 damage, which is way better. It is way better. Yeah. And then there's no way for you to not roll that. All right. We'll see where that goes. It doesn't feel that different than my crossbow. And if anything, it feels like it's just a more basic improvement. Like, oh, well, I can just roll and get 2 damage each time. So why would I use my crossbow again? But I would keep my crossbow because it's no longer flying this round. But that's really hard to pull off because it's a critical. I don't know. Let's see. We haven't had any flying monsters yet either. So, okay. Well, I do have another chance at getting the vintage Swirl, which maybe we should try to get. These guys are going to attack Kira, both of them, and we don't have any more health left. Okay. Let's see what happens here. Do we want Ashmar to do research? That's a +2 on damage rolls. I mean, why not? Let's try it. Maybe we can get crits, which would be critical to winning. Okay. Can also do 2 damage there. Okay, we have a bunch of stuff we can do here. All right. We're going to try and roll for Kira. That's a crit. So that does 3 right off the bat. 1, 2, and 3. That's 3. Man, every time we turn Ashmar on, we just get critical rolls. It's like, this is great. That's a 3 converts into a crit, which then we could have the snake bow do 4 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This guy's done already. Okay. And Rowan gets another attack with the snake bow? It's a good question. Does that mean Rowan can actually like pick a different target and attack? It's something we're gonna have to think about. Okay, let's put this in the notes here. It's something to think about here. 2/20 snake bow. If crit and kill creature, on first attack, can you pick a different target for second attack? I don't think so. I think that's just the way it goes. You know, but, you know, I don't know. It feels like if he was aiming at that target and he got a crit and then could take another shot, you know, that's just what you spend it on. I should have tried on here if that's what I was going for. Anyway, Ashmar, thanks to Ashmar, we got a +2 on our damage roll, which we didn't need, but Ashmar doesn't get to do anything. The Undead Guard hits Kira for 2 more attacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. That puts Kira at 7. I'm gonna actually take that hit on the basic shield. And then we're going to okay, then we're gonna use Kira, take another attack. We get a +2. Oh my god, there's a crit. So that's 1, 2, 3. This playtest feels really imbalanced. We're getting like a lot of criticals and like no fails, and yeah, it's a little off, but okay, we'll see where it goes. So that's 1, 2, 3. Rowan could try and finish this with the snake bow again if we get a critical. Is that how this works? Oh my god, just rolling criticals left and right. It's not a really good test. 1, so that's 4. So this guy's dead. So, all right. Well, I kind of wanted to see that play out a little differently. I'm kind of like trying to see this work, and it feels like the rolls are kind of making Ashmar basically useless. But then again, I could have had +1 on criticals, you know, so okay, I guess it's fair. I guess it's fair. All right, let's go ahead and flip these. There's 2 coins, 1, 2. And then we have to roll for loot. Let's see what we get here. We get 1 basic, and that's it. We just get 1 basic. Okay, that's good. We could use one of those. There's no real point to switching Ashmar because it was 2 undead. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Yeah. This playtest is a little challenging because we've gotten so many criticals that I feel like Ashmar just has been useless when he's researching, and that probably would not happen anyway. All right, we're just going to use this elixir immediately to help out Kira. And then we did not break the Swarl cellar. We just didn't need to. So we actually can get the vintage Swarl out of here. So let's grab that. Vintage Swarl. This is a great card. Very excited about this card. We can drink it and get 3 health taken off, but we also get 2 peril tokens, which I feel like peril tokens are going to be a little tricky. Hey, what's up, Furry? Happy Friday. I feel like peril tokens are a little off now. Now there really isn't a lot of peril tokening happening, but maybe we have to give it more time to percolate. But it just seems like I didn't roll any fails, but with Ashmar I can't really roll fails. Anyway, let's see how it goes. It's a little tricky to kind of like map it out. Oh yeah, this is a good question. If 2 sellers, but first one took Swarl, then what? 2 Swarls? Seems like you could break the game that way, but let's find out more. All right, next one. We're at the prison hall. After defeating all creatures, draw 1 NPC. I like this. Okay, oops. And we're gonna draw 1 and draw 2. Okay, this should be pretty interesting now because nice. Love it. This is going to be great because we actually have an undead that's flying, which means Rowan can now use this to knock them out of the sky. It's going to attack the slowest character, which is Kira, and also the party leader, which is Kira. So, you know, we're back to this whole thing where like Kira just keeps getting targeted. Might have to like work around with that because it feels like we maybe have too many slowest creature attacks. Might want to just take a look at that before we wrap. I think it's not really targeting enough different characters. It really feels like every time we play this, every monster is just fighting Kira if she's the leader. So let's see. All right. We want Kira to take a shot. No, actually we don't. We want to put Ashmar on research because we get a +2 to our damage rolls because we have 2 undead. And so if Rowan gets a crit while using the crossbow, this creature is no longer flying, which means we won't take a -1 to our attack. So let's try it. Let's see what happens here. Rowan's going to go for a shot. Guy gets a crit right off the bat, man. That's not what I wanted to test. Makes Ashmar feel very useless. All right, so we still take 2 damage. This creature is no longer flying, which means we do not take any -1s for this. So we can put, I guess we can put this on it. This means like negate the ranged, negates flying. We put it right there. And let's go ahead and have Kira attack it now, because if Kira gets a crit, then this guy could be done, right? So we re-roll it and we do a critical miss. Can you explain Ashmar again? Hey, James. James is the artist, everybody. Welcome, James. Can you explain Ashmar again? Why wouldn't the Fritz be good for him? What do you mean Fritz? Why wouldn't the research for him be good? Oh, crits. Because you've during this playtest, I have been trying to use Ashmar to do like +1 on damage rolls, and I've only been rolling criticals. I've rolled so many criticals on this D6 that it's kind of like the whole playtest has felt like Rowan's Ashmar's been kind of useless, because the whole point is that I get bad rolls, then he'll boost it up, which arguably is just how the dice roll. I could have been rolling crits this whole time and critical fails, and maybe he would have been more helpful. But okay, so we did get a critical fail this time, and that was on Kira, and Ashmar bumps that up from a 1 to a 2 to a 3. So it's a 3. She still only does 2 damage to it, but that actually kills it. And we don't take a -1 on the roll because it's not flying, because Rowan knocked it. James, Rowan has I didn't get to show this to you, but Rowan has I made some little changes to this. I'm trying to see how this works out, where on this crossbow, you roll a 1, which is technically a 2. You get 1 damage. You roll a 2, which is technically a 3. I was off by 1. You get 2 damage, and if you get a critical, you get 2 damage, and the creature is no longer flying this round, which means no one takes a -1. So that's pretty fun. All right, the Sulker is still alive, and the Sulker does 1 damage to Kira. Right. And then we start again. So Kira's gonna try. Actually, I mean, we can try the snake bow, and if we roll a crit, then we basically can get 4 damage. So let's see. We get a 3. Ashmar does +2 on the roll, which makes it a critical, which means we get 2 hits, and then we get to roll again. Yeah, a 3 turns into this, and we can take it out, and then that's done. So, yeah. Feeling like this bow right here is a problem. Feels like this bow is already a problem, but we'll get to it. We'll see. Checking one thing out at a time. That's 2 coins. 1, 2, and then we get 1 loot. We're gonna roll for the loot. We get a 2. That's a basic loot, and we got Don's Spite, which is all creatures are stunned this round. Discard this round. Discard. Okay, not bad. Put it down there. All right, let's see. Prison Hall is done. We did free 1 prisoner as well. So let's see which prisoner we got. The Bone Collector. Bone Collector, we're changing up. They were going to summon this Torch of Vorm, and then we realized the Torch of Vorm actually hurts human, like blood types, not undeads, which kind of didn't make sense. So we have this new card in here, which is called Drool's Jawbone. This guy's name is probably going to be Drool. And he brings you his jawbone. Oh, that's not the right card art. Many apologies, James. Sorry about that. So Drool's Jawbone is going to go here, and when an undead creature would resurrect, instantly defeat and discard. Okay, so we'll keep that. We could give it to Ashmar. Let's go ahead and put the prison hall here. We have 1 last card, and then we're through our first area. 2 creatures, pull from the deck. If any of them are defeated, are undead, and respawn after 1 round, the encounter is not over. That means they come back to life, but we do have Drool's Jawbone. So if a creature is going to come back to life, we can use that to make sure they don't resurrect. And we don't have any undead, which is okay. That's the graveyard is not, there's no bones in the graveyard today. All right, let's see. The Oozer is going to hit back, and the Sulker is going to attack only the party leader for 1. So let's see how this goes down. Ashmar's still going to do research and do a +2 on damage rolls, which just kind of honestly seems like so powerful. Just way too powerful. Like, not only can you never not get a critical fail, but I mean, even at a 2, if you roll a 2 and you add 3 and then 4, everything is a critical. You're just going to crit over and over and over again. Yeah, this is broken. Yeah. So he can't do a +1 on damage rolls. Yeah. Just trying to think through if there's a, so it's also the fact that he just gives it all the time. So maybe I just cannot figure out this character. Maybe things that are going through my mind are like, maybe he spends the dead bodies. Like he can only do 2 of these, and he can't do a +2 on damage rolls. Like, he just can't spend everything to make it work. He could spend 1 of his cards that he keeps, and then you have to get another one. And then you can only use it 1 time. In which case, there'd be no reason to turn him. Like, turning him and then spending a card is kind of like, it takes a lot of pre-planning and it doesn't feel right. All right, well, we're learning about him. We are learning about him. We're gonna just play through the way we've been playing through. He gives a +2 to damage rolls. No, we're not going to do that. I wish we could, but that's literally, the game's broken. I'm already going to win. There's no point in even playing if we're going to do that. Because I can never fail. I can never fail, and I can basically crit multiple times, which is going to kill these guys in like 2 or 3 shots. So the question is, if all of this went away and I came across this, and I wanted to do research with Ashmar. I'm asking my brain a question now. I'm like, brain, what would I imagine Ashmar would do at this point? And I feel like I don't know. All right, well, let's finish it without, and then we'll come back and replay it. We're just going to treat Ashmar like he's just normal Ashmar without any cool stuff. And we'll finish it out because I do want to see what the rest is, what's going to happen here. All right, so we're going to start off with... We'll start off with Kira trying to hit the Oozer here. So Kira's going to hit the Oozer. That's a 2. That does 2 damage. Oh, the Oozer's dead. All right, so we might have to bump the Oozer up. Oozer needs more health. Oozer's done. That was too easy. And then the Sulker, we're going to have Rowan try and attack the Sulker. He gets a 2. That does, the 2 is basically a 1, which means he does 1 damage. And Ashmar's going to attack and do 1 damage. We didn't get any, we've barely gotten any fails this entire round, this entire game. Sulker does 1 damage to Kira. That puts Kira at 9 with 2 on the shield. Yeah. Then, that's right. The Sulker heals for 1. Then we'll start again. Kira tries to attack. That's a critical. That does 3 damage, and the Sulker is dead. And they're both dead. We flip them over. Only one of them gives us... only one of them gives us... 2 coins, and then only one of them gives us a loot, so we can re-roll that. And we get a crit, which is a weapon, and we flip it, and we get Reichert's shield, which absorbs the damage of attacks. Discard when it's broken. I'm actually going to toss this basic shield and give Kira the Reichert's shield. And then this goes back over here. Okay, well, look, this was a great playthrough. Is the loser in the creature deck on its own now? Is the loser in the creature deck on its... Oh, is the Oozer. Is the Oozer in the creature deck on its own now? Yeah, they're on their own because the slimes were taking too long for the first act. It was feeling like, you know, these battles were taking a really long time. I do feel like the pacing, they will, but well, the idea was that then later you get the slime. So maybe in this first part, you only get Oozers, and then you can get slime in the later ones. Maybe we even have an event that summons a slime. That could be pretty cool in the first area. But together, when you draw 2 and then you get a slime and then an Oozer, although I will say feels a little bit like we might be able to bring them back now that these guys have a lot more damage that they're doing. Feels like it could be something to do. I could see that. I will say the pacing of this felt really good as far as this first area. Like, there wasn't like just round after round after round of attacks. Everything kind of like worked out pretty quickly, which I like a lot. But I do think maybe introducing the slime back now it could be interesting, because now that the characters, you could actually do more damage, it might make that more interesting. We have to try it out and see. The snake bow is just not fun. I think it could be fun, but it's currently not fun. this whole thing of like just roll, and if you just get 2 damage, and then if it's critical, do it again. It's like, I mean, it goes from 2 to 4 damage on a critical. Yeah, I'd have to think about that. I'd have to think about how that works. Because right now it just feels like either A, it's too powerful. Yeah, it felt like it was too powerful, especially with Ashmar. So it's hard to say. Maybe it wasn't too powerful, but with the amount of critical rolls I got, and then with Ashmar giving +2 to attack rolls, which just that rule's already dead to me. That rule's done. It's just not fun. It's not fun to have like +2 on a roll. All right, I'm just thinking. Well, what I want to do is I actually want to put these back the way they were. So we had the snake bow, we had the Reichert shield. These were basic weapons. We're going to put those back in there. Rowan has the crossbow. Kira is here. We're going to clean this up. I like this build though. I think Ashmar really wrecked the playtest. This version of Ashmar really kind of like crashed the playtest. Like I said, because first of all, he's just still not fun, and he's just not interesting, and he's also just not like, he's not adding a lot. He's actually taking away a lot of fun from the game in his current form, and that's probably the biggest problem. Oh no, Furry, thanks for letting me know. Okay, I will fix it. I'll fix it when I hop off today. I'll make sure I put the link back on. Yeah, it just feels like there's not a lot going on with Ashmar. Either Ashmar breaks the game, or Ashmar is just a regular character, which is pretty sad too. Like, we don't want him to be just a regular character. We want him to have a lot of personality in his gameplay, be a lot of fun, right? And he's just not there yet. But I think we are getting there for sure. I still think Ashmar has too little health. That's a part of the problem too, I feel like. Just doesn't have like the amount of health that he would need for you to feel like you can do a couple things with him. Kind of just gets hit and then he gets wrecked like immediately. But I'm glad we tried it, by the way. All this is good. This is what playtesting is for. Is like, I'm not a fan of what's happening here, but that's good. We now know that it's not very fun when Ashmar just adds numbers to the dice rolls. I thought initially Ashmar used to do a +1 damage overall, and I think that one was a bit. When I think about Ashmar, really the problem comes down to not so much that he added too many numbers to the dice, although adding 2 is just kind of it's just useless. You just don't even need to really roll. You're probably going to get a crit. But I think what it comes down to is that Ashmar should be like calling out a shot when it's about to happen. And that feels like it could be you spend a creature you spend one of his dead creatures to like make a bonus on an attack or something like that. I think that we could try that next. I just feel like him collecting dead creatures and then spending them. I just wonder if that would even be an interesting choice, or you just spend them when you get them. Like, oh, you're just like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna just spend all of the creatures in this round and then beat it. And then at the end of it, you get another creature back, and then you just spend it again. It's my point is, like, I just wonder if it's like, again, like, this just isn't really thoughtful as much. It's not feeling like there's like a lot of thinking behind Ashmar. And I did really like the previous version of Ashmar, where you have to turn him on his side and he's vulnerable to attacking, and then everyone gets a +1 damage. That's kind of interesting. So I could see that being pretty cool. All right, well, guys, this was a really great playthrough. I had a lot of fun here hanging out. We just keep making more progress on this game. I think I do like the new D6, even though the probabilities for rolling the crits was like off the charts, especially with Ashmar. So, you know, reining that in for next time. But yeah. Okay, well, guys, have a great weekend. I'll be back here on Monday. We're just going to keep doing more and more playtests of Deadly Decks. I'm hoping after next week, we might have enough locked in that I can play past the first event, because you guys really haven't seen any of the extended game, right? There's tons more monsters and creatures and stuff here going on, and a whole bunch of different really interesting events here to try and play with. So I'm looking forward to that. I think next week we might be in a spot where one of these playtests we could actually go to the next location. But yeah. All right, guys, have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for hanging out, guys. You guys make it so fun. I'll see you guys next time. Kurtiswow out.